Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another edition of the Freshman 15 College Football Podcast. Week 5 was defined by upsets. 6 teams ranked top 25 were beat by opponents below or ranked or unranked at all. So take that for what it is. The SEC also got hit the hardest with Alabama knocking out Georgia and Ole Miss taking down LSU. And perhaps the biggest surprise was Florida State going down to UVA. So to break it all down with my guy, Tyler Moore, I'm Elby Cruz. Tyler Madu, what is up?
Not much. Like you said, there's a couple big games last week, especially that Friday night game, that Florida State. I couldn't believe that. But yeah, we'll get into that right here.
Yeah, man. So let's go ahead and hop right into it, man. So let me go with the appetizers first. So I had USC as the spotlight game, local time, 12 o'clock game, which I think was a great game too. It's going to go kind of overlooked based on what happened Friday night, but it was a great game that kind of went back and forth. For USC, I think they played pretty well offensively. Iowa played great. Jordan was pretty good too. The receiver Lemon went off that day, but as we saw with USC, it's the same things from a couple years ago. Just explosive play. Defense was opportunistic, but still can close the game out. And even for Illinois, they had their chances to kind of close the book on them really early, but couldn't just avoid the stupid turnover. Like I think twice they fumbled the ball inside their own 5-yard line for USC. And then for USC, props to them for kind of having that big drive to kind of take the lead. But still, once again, the USC defense let up and they lose the game on the road. So what's your take on that USC game if you were watching?
Yeah. I mean, USC, they just continue to lose to teams that they should be beating. What is it? Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan. I think Michigan was last year, and then Illinois this year. It's those teams you have to beat. You're talking like teams that are the lower half of the Big Ten. You come in as this blue blood college into the Big Ten, and you're even your fan base expects you to rank like top within the top half of that, so top 5 probably. And Lincoln's not really just getting it done for them. So there might be some. We talked about the first episode of the season, but there might be some reevaluation going on there at the end of the season because it's. I mean, if I was a USC faithful, I'd be like, how much is too much when it comes to losing these sort of games?
Yeah, and I think they lost some too. Even though we see them as like the big NIL spender, they've lost a lot of talent as well. One player I'll talk about who we feature later, they lost also. But I think it brings them back to earth. I think looking at USC, I can kind of, and I think it's fine. They lost lost to Illinois. If you're a USC fan, you're pissed off. For guys like us though, we can just kind of reset our expectations on them. We can kind of reset what we think about USC. They're not one of these teams that are kind of a dark horse pushing towards something in the Big Ten. They're there. They're then also ran, and that's fine too. I mean, for what they are right now, I think it's totally fine. They have a lot of work to do going into just replenishing their talent. But again, they've lost a lot of talent too, so that's starting to show with them, and they are where they are, man. Then also, just to recap, what was your Saturday spotlight last week?
Penn State, Oregon.
Let's get right into it.
Penn State, Oregon. We led off basically the whole episode last week with like, hey, this is looking at James Franklin. This is the James Franklin game. 4-20. So sorry, he was 3-21. 3-20. Oh, sorry, 4-20. Now he's 4-21 against top 10 schools. And you talk about a leash. How long is that leash? Because he just continues to not be able to get it done. You have one of the best running back tandems in the nation, probably the best, in Allen and Singleton, and you can't figure out how to use them. You don't have any weapons on the outside. You lost Tyler Warren. You have Drew Aller, he has like the body, the prototype of like a big NFL player, like an NFL style quarterback, and he's getting 137 yards a game. He has no weapons on the outside. They don't use their NIL money, and their defense is always stifling. But when it comes to the offense, they have to because we know it's a 3-phase game. They don't help out that defense at all. And if the defense doesn't get points, they're really not getting points. Yeah, Aller had 2 touchdowns to make it 3-17 or 17-17 after it was 3-17. 2 beautiful passes, by the way. One was a shovel pass. One was, a long one to the far right corner of the end zone. But when you really need it, you turn away from your best players. And you let Oregon come into your house, your whiteout game, and put their foot on your throat. Yeah,
and that's the part that sucks because this one was in your house. They're amped up to win the game, and if you win the game now, you can really take kind of that you put the feather in your cap. And for Penn State, I think where you're coming from too, it's not just the expectations are super high with them, and it's primarily because of where you were last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's been this steady build up. You know what I'm saying? Like the steady build up ever since like the last 3 years of you're getting there, you're still losing to these top teams. You're getting there. You're in the championship game, and you're getting there, but you're still losing. And that's the caveat. You just keep losing. Now I'm watching the game, and I'm looking at this game. And I'm like, okay. So I'm looking at this game two different ways. Going up into the game, I expected that Oregon they'd play tough. They stopped the run against Penn State because they have the bodies inside. Bear Alexander, who's a transfer from USC, he was phenomenal, man. Like Bear Alexander was great. When you watch the game, you're a purist, so you understand like the running schemes, the concepts. I'm looking at what they're running at Oregon, and it's well designed. Everything that they're running at them is very well designed. They put the window dressing before the snap. It looks really, really good. However, they didn't expect that Oregon would do so well. And Oregon, I mean, they've had tons of guys coming in from all over, so they got talent to boot. And I'm watching these quarterbacks, and I said to myself, I think it was like the third or fourth quarter, and I'm like, Dante Moore's a better quarterback here.
Yeah,
like he's the best quarterback in this game. And you're looking at a guy with his poise, his confidence, his mettle under pressure. He's just locked in, man. Like him and Sadiq were locked in. The run game was good too, but they were just locked in, man. And it looked like they were the better team. And when you had to put on Drew Aller in the overtime period, you were pick.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to kind of see, and I think the game might have gotten away with him. It wasn't for that crazy call on Harkey, the second like unsportsmanlike conduct to make it like 3rd-21 or whatever. I think that was the game sealer. That was like the drive Oregon was going to go and win the game convincingly. And I'm just looking at this team, looking at Franklin, because he's of course going to be the point of the conversation, but Drew Aller, man.
Yeah, no, I've always been high on him, but yeah, like I said, he a lot of the times in those situations, a quarterback is a product of the system that you're in and the weapons around you.
Fair.
And it's not there for him, and it's kind of his fault. I would say it's his fault for being loyal to Penn State, because I imagine he could have went anywhere else, and then that's on him, and he having the NIL and be able to do that. But I props on him and Nick Singleton for being loyal to the program. But it's going to end up hurting them and their draft stock this coming up year. So
it's a great, because I think since we started the podcast, so many guys have made their moves out of these teams.
Mm-hmm.
And they started with the year of Sam Hartman, Ryan Leonard moving away as well. Like we've seen it.
Will Howard.
Will Howard's another one, time and time again. Even Dylan Gabriel moving over to Oregon. Like Dante Moore's another one. Like it keeps happening. But he stayed. And yes, he's limited by the offense. I think they still have a lot of work to do with their receivers as well. But if you're going to be the guy that we think he is, meaning that guy who's like a late first round pick, maybe top 20 pick quarterback, you got to do better with what I'm saying. I'm not convinced. I'll talk about another quarterback in a second. Or if you're good, we can move on to the help hurt right now.
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, so I'm going to segue into this one. So for me, arguably the biggest winner of last week would be Ole Miss winning against LSU. And props to Massey on that. We called that one from long range. But I think the more important takeaway from that game isn't really Ole Miss winning. So, but again, props to them. It's LSU for me. And losing that game. So now they're kind of in shaky ground because they have a really rough schedule going forward. Yep. And so look at their wins. It's like it's not really real to me. Like this goal ain't really real to me because you beat Clemson. Sure, I'll give you that one. But the game doesn't have much impact. You beat Florida, who's very challenged right now with what they're going through, Billy Napier. And then the person that I think looks the worst in all this, man, it's got to be Garrett Nussmeier. Has to be.
Yep.
Because with each week, man, if we look at him, and again, you're holding up that diamond to the light, and it looks fake. It looks kind of fake to me. So every week he looks more and more average. It's like, okay, it's already, if you look at him as a prospect, he's not very big. The arm's not very strong, but now it's the decision making to boot. So you have this like perfect storm of like question marks. And again, like Drew Aller, had he came out last year, had he been available to go out in the draft, he would have been way better off. I'm just starting to see it, man. I don't think he's looking too good. And I think for them is they have a hard schedule going forward. They have Texas, if I'm correct, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia. He may not make it, man.
Right.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think he hurt himself pretty heavy. People will look at also Florida State losing last week to UVA, but they can bounce back by beating Miami this week. So it's not
Correct.
hard to spot, man. I just think Nussmeier and LSU, they're in a rough spot. And I think they hurt themselves the most because they had things going in their favor until last week. So yeah, that's one for me, Nussmeier.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go hurt yourself, and it's not really like it's like almost a long-term thing, but it's Kirby Smart. He's 1-7 against Alabama. 1-7 against Alabama. His only win comes in the 2022 national championship. So he's got an Alabama problem, just like it's like Ryan Day has a Michigan problem. And, it's the thing you can't get over, and it almost like haunts you. It's like you're coaching. Like you almost coach scared against these teams. Like, hey, I've only beaten them one time, and now I'm coaching scared. Well, but for moreover, it's that Georgia, Alabama. I don't like doing the transitive property. Alabama lost to Florida State. Yada yada yada.
We can.
Yeah, we can absolutely. But then you kind of, in that case, it'd be Virginia's better than Alabama. We're not going to say that right now. But you look at Georgia and you say, what are the flaws in this team? Because we know I don't think Ty Simpson's that good of a quarterback, and he moves up and down the field on them. But you look at Gunnar Stockton, he's not the answer. He's clearly not your typical your Georgia quarterback that Kirby Smart has. Stetson Bennett, he wasn't like this great quarterback, but he was poised and stuff like that. But it comes to the SEC has leveled out with the playing field. We're going to talk about another game here in a minute. But it's like, where do they go from here? Because almost every team in the SEC, they, like we always talk about, they always end up beating up each other. Could this obviously going to come back to hurt them? They're going to need they're going to need like Ole Miss to fall, or one of these other teams that might not fall. Especially like Texas, you don't know what they're going to do. Oklahoma, it's just one of those things. So, it's Kirby Smart and his 1-7 record against Alabama, because that's like something you have to get over, and he hasn't been shown to be able to do it.
And I think that's a great point to make, because even though the players come and go all the time in these programs, the coaches stay.
Yep.
And they're the ones that are competing against the coach on the other side has been there for a while, in many cases, as we see with the SEC all the time. So I do think there's a bit of a psychological edge that you can kind of incorporate. And it's also based on, hey, this team may have my number, which is pretty good for this week's games, man. So real fast, in your Saturday spotlight, what game do you have?
It's Florida State, Miami.
So let me go first then.
Okay.
All right. So my spotlight game actually this week is Vandy and Alabama.
That's my upset pick.
Oh, man. Okay. All right. So then we'll just tag team real fast. I mean, so when they play this game, it'll be 1 year to the day where Pavia beat them in that crazy shootout that went late in the game. And I just think,
in Nashville. Yeah, they were in Nashville.
In Nashville.
Yep.
In Nashville. Now, the roles are switched this time with them coming in to Tuscaloosa. But since that win, though, man, I mean, they had a good run last year. They played against one of our favorites on the show, Georgia Tech, in a bowl game. They won that game. They're in the top 25 still. Pavia's still doing really, really well, man. And he's still leading the team in passing and rushing. Their top weapon is Eli Stowers, who came back for another season. I just think they have it. They just kind of have it all together. And they're pesky enough to give you a hard time to kind of get through it. And like you said, Ty Simpson isn't great, but he's starting to kind of improve a little bit. Again, how you look at players' expectations is everything. Based on what he has around him, based on the team he has around him, he's there. He's there, and that's okay. That's totally fine. I just think this game has the makes to go kind of back and forth. And Bobby, again, I think he's very, very pesky. He's a thorn on your side, and he'll give you just trouble. Now you have the upset, so you're picking Vandy to win on the road at Tuscaloosa.
Yes. It's almost like if you want to use a basketball reference here, this is for you. Okay. They're a bracket buster for me. They are the bracket buster team, because you take this team. Yes, they're ranked 18. No, they're not 18. They're somewhere around 16. Okay, yeah, because Florida State is 18. My apologies. So they're ranked 16, but it's just like they're the team. Like you said, they're pesky, and they're gonna hang around, and then it just turns like complete turmoil into the SEC after this point, because you're going to have, Alabama's 2 losses, and then the whole thing of last year is, does Alabama get in with 2 or 3 losses? So we're already talking, we're midway through the season, and we could be talking with Alabama with 2 losses. They got to play perfect the rest. So then what is Alabama again without, without being in the playoffs, and it's just like setting up this giant scenario for a giant bracket buster,
Yep.
like almost like Thanos level, like snap thing coming in where there's maybe one, maybe two SEC teams into this final 12, and Vandy plays the part in that, and that's what's really exciting to see.
That's why it's fun because they're the team that nobody wants to. NFL's the same way. You'll have a team that's kind of like pushing and surging, and teams have all this at stake, right? Like you have teams that are pushing for a division title or a bye or something like that.
Mhm.
And in comes this team that just kind of takes your legs from under you, and it's Vandy. And nobody wants to play them. And who they have on their schedule, like you don't want to see Vandy at all. Just how they dismantled South Carolina. That was kind of like, oh, they're back again with the same stuff.
Yeah.
This time they're undefeated and they have so much ahead of them. And I think, and it can go a couple ways, right? Like if Vandy wins, that's like the feather in their cap because now maybe they're the bracket buster, right? Like they're gonna crash the party. I want to say party crasher, really. If they win, then maybe they can get enough games. Like if they have enough quality wins on their belt, they can withstand a loss to a higher seeded team, right? Or a higher ranked opponent in the SEC. So I think that's their benefit now. If the Bear loses the game, now he's looking kind of funny, right? Like it's just,
Yeah.
that's why this game is fun, man. That's why it's probably your upset pick because there's so much drama that goes into it.
Yeah.
With these outcomes.
Yeah, because they technically were like the bracket buster last year because that loss, you could say that loss prevented Alabama from getting into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah. So my Saturday spotlight would be Miami versus Florida State. A lot rides on the line for this because I seen the stat the other day during the Virginia game where the winner of that game had a 50% chance to make the ACC title game. The loser had a 17% chance. So, if Florida State doesn't win this game, they're basically kaput. But you got Carson Beck coming in. That defense from Miami is killer. I think they're ranked number 3 in the nation.
They're good.
And then Florida State has to bounce back. And is it Castanova?
Castellanos.
We've seen him play up against Alabama. He made that marquise. They don't know who they're playing. So let's see if he can do it against, an in-state rival, probably their biggest rival. And, it's going to be primetime, 7:30. A lot's going into this game. And basically you could say like the trip to the ACC championship game is probably on the line in this game. So I mean that's what's intriguing because it's only halfway through the season, and we get this great top 25 matchup against a very fun offense in Florida State, and then this super talented defense in Miami, like Miami's of old, the late 90s, early 2000s. So we get to see that. So yeah, I mean, let's go. If you're a football fan, this is one of the games that you really want to see.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is because we talk about like the conference, the team, and it's funny. We talk about these teams together, and I can't separate them probably because of the color scheme. But Vandy and Tech are those teams on the ACC side. They're the one you don't want to mess with. You don't want to tangle with the Yellow Jackets. Same thing with Vandy. And I think that it's very key because if you look at the schedule here for Miami, if you don't play in that title game, man, your schedule looks very, very thin because for Miami, it's Louisville, who's undefeated right now, actually, but not ranked. Louisville, weak Stanford, SMU, Syracuse is so up and down, NC State, beat Tech and Pitt. There's not enough weight in that schedule to do that. Plus, the win against Notre Dame looks kind of funny, and then South Florida. So at that point, if you're Miami, you cannot lose this game, man. You can't. There's not enough ground to make up. And then on the same token, looking at Florida State, in their case, it's the same thing. It's Pitt, Stanford, Clemson, Tech, NC State, and Florida. Not very good, man.
Yeah, so you talk about that Notre Dame game looking funny. How much grace do we give a team for that? Because we both notoriously stated, even in past season, that Notre Dame always starts off slow, and then they pick up in the middle of the season and they go on to make the playoffs. And we kind of seen that switch flipped this game because they said, hey, we got Jeremiah Love, the best running back in the nation. Let's give him the ball. 4 first half touchdowns. Oh, hey, look, he can catch the ball too.
It works.
Yeah, it works. Make life easy for your freshman quarterback. Huh, who would have thought? You you have this great running back tandem, really. Let's give the ball off to him and watch what he does with it. And 4 first half touchdowns, and you did so well that Arkansas fired their coach. So
That's wild, though.
yeah,
That's wild.
that's wild. Yeah, and I think it was Arkansas homecoming too, so
Ooh.
that made it even worse. Yeah, so like it's like when would you say like, hey, maybe that Notre Dame, that that Miami win over Notre Dame doesn't look so funny because Notre Dame's coming back up, like especially with like how much, like where's that grace period for Notre Dame when they notoriously start slow and come on later in the season?
I don't know if they. I don't know if they could. I don't know if Notre Dame can necessarily justify it or use it to their advantage because if you're looking at the teams on their schedule, we're not impressed by them.
Right.
We can't be because I can't be moved by Boise State after losing to USF.
Right.
Can't be moved by NC State. Can't be moved by USC after what happened last Saturday. Boston College isn't going to work either. So do we look at Navy? No. Pitt? No way. Syracuse? Absolutely not. And lastly, Stanford? No way.
Yeah.
There's when we said that Notre Dame was dead and buried, they are. Unless there's a epic collapse at the SEC level, there's just no way. And I don't think you can gauge that win. And even for Miami, winning the game 27-24, I think for that game, we can almost throw it out because in the case you have a freshman quarterback for Notre Dame, in Miami's case, you have all these imports coming in and an import quarterback coming into your system. I think I can kind of toss that game out a little bit. So for Miami, it's going to be, you better be Florida State, you better win your conference.
Yeah.
We're going to have a problem.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, that's it's funny how thin, and when you compare conferences, it's funny how you compare conferences of the ACC versus the SEC with just how deep the conferences are all the way throughout. So it's pretty impressive, man. Now I want to kind of move over this week to my upset pick, and it's probably not something that you're looking at. You may have seen it, but I had Iowa State going down to Cincinnati on the road.
Okay, yeah, I did see that that Cincinnati's actually the favorite in that game.
Oh, it moved.
It's like 1.5. Yeah, because
it moved. Okay.
Yeah, I seen it and I was like, because I put money on Iowa State for that one because I seen it move and they were the plus team, and I was like, oh, it's too close to call. Yeah. So I put money on that one for Iowa State. But
so when I
go ahead, go off, King.
So when I saw it, I believe that it was 3.5 in favor of Iowa State.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, they're winning these games. And I gave them credit for it before. Like, hey, you're winning a lot of close games. It's cool. It's whatever. But when you look at the wins again, and now we're kind of in that point. We're in October now, right? We're in the fall. So when you get past this point of October, now we can kind of look back. We're kind of far enough down the road where I can look back and see how good these games were, how good were these teams should be. Mm-hmm. 3-point win on the road, well, in Ireland versus Kansas State, was not good anymore. A 2-point win versus Iowa, which Iowa's going to be tough all the time. And then you have a 1-score win against Arkansas State. Well, I want to give you credit for winning these close games and keeping your head in tight moments. You can't keep doing that. It can't be sustainable over the course of the year. It's just not there. And plus, you don't have a really good running game. Your quarterback, I don't think, is all that great. It's not going to be a way to keep this thing going over and over again. Plus, you lost your top 2 corners for the season.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't going to fly. So I just think with Becht, he's got to do probably more to anchor that team. Don't think he's got it in him. We've seen also with Cincinnati, they can be a tough out for a lot of teams in that conference as well. They can kind of just pop up and beat you. So I just think this is a game where they get beaten. I think they get beat pretty comfortably. I'm saying 28-17. Bearcats.
Ooh, 11 points. Bearcats.
They get them.
Yeah, I don't see that Big 12 conference, man. It's the winner of that Big 12 conference coming out. And that's the only team from that conference that's going to make the playoffs. None of those teams are good. Texas Tech's not all that good. Like when they match up against one of these big teams, they're going to get blown out of the water. Just like I can't say just like Arizona State last year because they did put up a good fight against Texas.
So the fight.
Yeah, but they don't have that dog running back anymore, Cam Scatterboo. So he flipped that game. But yeah, it's funny to see like the disparity between. So you would see like the Big 12, and then you look at someone like the SEC, where like their top 2 hitters are like great. Same thing with the Big 10. You got Ohio State, Oregon, For right now, we don't really know what Penn State is. I mean, we do. They just lost to Oregon, but like, there's always those big hitters, and it's what teams do emerge coming out of that, but coming out through the rest of the season to make that 12 team. I know it's funny talking about this, but we're still like a month away from getting like the selection stuff.
Yeah.
But it I only see one of those Big 12 teams coming out, and maybe it is Cincinnati. Maybe they do. Maybe they get in there because the conference winner automatically gets in. Are they going to be able to do enough throughout that conference? That was such a weak conference that they could really throw things into a mix there.
So watching them, I think the class of the conference is Texas Tech, and the reason why I said that is because just the money they poured into the program, trying to rebuild the program. That I'll say. I think the quarterback is a little fugazi for my taste, but still, I think they have enough. And you're going to find out, because if they can make it through Arizona State, which I don't think Arizona State's all that great, I mean, Kenny Dillingham's going to keep them where they need to be at. He's going to keep them competitive, but I think they're beatable. BYU might be the class of that conference, even though they're so far behind right now in the standings, but it's early. It hasn't kind of settled its way into what it's going to be right now. So I do think it's possible, but if I'm looking at this team, I think Texas State's based on the NIL money, what they have, yes, but overall, nah, man, this is like Lamb slaughter. Whoever comes out this year is cringe. It's just I don't see it happening any other way. And just the separation of powers, man. Look at even Penn State. And by the way, I'm not holding Penn State's loss against them necessarily. In the big picture, I'm not holding it against you. Can't really do that. It's disappointing going forward when we get deeper into the postseason bracket. But as far as being a team, and also at the sidetrack, that's how Penn State ends up getting these favorable matchups in the bracket too. They lose just enough to get a nice, clean run through the bracket to play against teams like this. Your Boise State,
Arizona State. Yeah.
So just wanted to point that out to you as well. Yeah. So again, it's no harm, no foul for them.
Yeah, and another thing I want to point out is the way that Illinois did bounce back from that horrendous loss against Indiana. You know, to come back and beat a very hot USC team. And then, Indiana's kind of brought back down to life against Iowa. They didn't blow them out of the water. I think it was a lot closer than it was until the end. Yeah.
That was a shocker, though.
Yeah. So it's like
that. Yeah, go ahead, man. Sorry.
Yeah. So I mean, just Illinois to bounce back from, just getting their teeth kicked in, to come in and play a team that was ranked in the top 25, that was hot, like the most efficient quarterback in college football. And they made plays on you, but you're bend but don't break. You could have put the game away a little bit earlier if you didn't have two fumbles. But yeah, I mean, just to bounce back from a horrendous loss, it just shows like the resolve. And Brett Bielema was a better coach than a lot of people think that he actually is. But yeah, I mean, hats off to the Fighting Illini, and then and the same thing with Indiana, to not go into that Iowa game with such a big head. But then still come out victorious over a tough Hawkeyes team that always plays defense really tight.
Yeah, man. I mean, it does kind of recalibrate when we think about these teams, and that's the thing. Even Indiana, man. Indiana, let's just assume that they're the fourth best team in the conference, in the Big Ten.
Okay.
If they are, they're still better than your top team in the Big 12.
Yeah.
ACC probably the exact same thing. Well, and it all depends too, because in Miami's case, you're going to see Florida State try to bounce back hard too. Like you said, it's the same goes with Illinois, and take that to Florida State bouncing back in a loss the week after. So it's hard to say, man. I like where Indiana is. We don't know much about them just yet based on where we are, but they're going to be a fun team once they get in. And I don't see there's any way that they don't.
Florida State
this year. No, Indiana.
Oh, Indiana. Sorry.
In term, I don't see any way where we don't see them play improving.
Mm-hmm.
And I think even where they go, I mean, they have a great quarterback. I said it before. Great quarterback, they rush the passer, and they have a really, really good receiver that I think people underrate. Nationally, I think Elijah Surratt is underrated nationally. It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and just to go off one more thing, it's almost like Florida State's loss versus Virginia. They were peeking ahead to this week. Constant. It's one of those constant things. Like, hey, we'll make it through this game, and then it's on to the next one. Just kind of peeking. You get caught on your heels, and then you're scrambling for your life there at the end. But Yeah, classic case of overlooking your opponent. But this week should be a doozy for the SEC and the ACC. So, yeah, I mean,
Told you, man. Said it was good this week. I'm telling you, it's better than people thought it was, man.
yeah.
But brother, man, any last thoughts before we get up out of here?
No, that's it for me. A lot, like I said, two really big games, two high-profile games this week that I'm really paying attention to. So, enjoy it because they are. I wouldn't say, obviously Vanderbilt's not a blue blood, but Miami and Florida State definitely are. So that's the game to watch this weekend for me.
Big time, big time. All right, everybody. So for my dude, Tom Moore, I'm LP Cruz. This has been the Freshman 15 College Football Podcast. Peace.
Peace.